Hi everyone, welcome to this presentation on virtue ethics by Aristotle and with his idea on eudaimonia. Okay. Before we proceed with the slides, let's be guided by the following objectives. So at the end of this presentation, you should be able to understand virtue ethics, recognize the meaning of eudaimonia or happiness and its relation to ethics, differentiate the parts of the soul in relation to their respective functions, appreciate and articulate the role of virtue in crafting an ethical life, determine the role of habit in the formation of a virtuous character, and lastly articulate the difference between philosophical knowledge and practical wisdom. Okay, let's activate our prior knowledge by looking at these pictures and answering that question or pondering with that question. In which picture can you relate with? Or which action of a person can you relate with? In which situation? Or what do you think are these people trying to portray or exhibit when it comes to the characteristics of a person or character traits of a person? Alright, so here people are often most remembered by their most significant character traits, and these traits are the product of a consistent display of a particular behavior. Some people are known to be courageous, some are quick-witted, while others are remembered for their diligence and their work ethics. To a certain extent, a person is defined, at least in the minds of others, by what he or she does and how he or she lives his or her life. On one hand, character traits such as thoughtfulness, temperance, and respectfulness are often seen in a positive light. On the other hand, cowardice, laziness, and shamelessness are generally frowned upon by most. One who consistently exhibits certain behavior in various situations gains a peculiar identity that somehow determines how others perceive him or her as a person. Here we build our characters through how we make choices in different situations we face in our lives, in meeting and speaking to different people, facing various problems, and handling different day-to-day tasks. We develop a certain way of being, a unique style of being a person. Through the constant interaction of thought and action as prompted by the various situations that call for one's decision, a person comes to know himself or herself as a certain type of character or personality. Being a certain way of having a particular personality implies a certain understanding of the good. Personality or character is an approach or a way of reckoning the different situations that one has or that one faces in his or her life, a way of navigating one's way towards his or her flourishing as a human person. Character is not merely a theoretical construct, but a product of action in the world, a constant doing or way of being that is made apparent by the possession and actualization of particular virtues or vices. So here in the following slides, we take a look at the virtue ethics, and let's define. Virtue ethics describes a certain philosophical approach to questions about morality. It is a way of thinking about ethics that is characteristic of ancient Greek and Roman philosophers, particularly Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. But it has become popular again since the later part of the 20th century due to the work of thinkers like Elizabeth Anscombe, Philippa Foot, and Alasdair MacIntyre. Now, The central question of virtue ethics is this one: how should I live? Take a look at the pictures again. So here we can see a man like uh, praying, and then we have here How to Live a Good Life, which is a book written by Jonathan Fields. We also have here the photo of Nick Vujicic on Life Without Limits. If you have seen him on his motivational uh, videos, okay, so he is a guy without hands and feet, no limbs at all, but he can do a lot. Okay, he can swim, he can even surf, okay, he can ride a bike and all. The rest of the pictures here is a girl cuddling or embracing, okay, a dog, and then we have here a group of friends, okay, looking at some scene, and a family or a father with the three children, okay, his three children probably, okay, eating outside. So here, probably they have the question on how should I live? If you put yourself in one of the pictures, okay, probably you can also ask yourself, okay, how should you live with that kind of setup? Okay? And of course, we have here also Steve Jobs, yeah, a motivational speaker too. Okay, how should I live? So this has a good claim to being the most fundamental question that you can put to yourself. Not all of us have the kind of life we always wanted to be. Not all rich are happy. Not all poor are sad either. Not all those who are smiling every day and laughing every day are the happiest. They may be the saddest people too. Not all of those who often smile are problematic. They may only feel content. I'm not sure where do you associate yourself with, but have you to ask yourself, how should I live? Or how should I live? How do you answer this question? Have you found the answer to this question? Good if you have, and what if not? Perhaps I just wish you good luck. Okay? Nevertheless, philosophers, authors, and motivational speakers have a lot to say about this question. And you may want to try, okay, searching some books, okay, just like that of Jonathan Fields, okay, and other speakers. But philosophically speaking, there is another question that perhaps has to be answered first. Namely, how should I decide how to live? Now, to answer that question, there are several answers available within the Western philosophical tradition. First, we have the religious answer. It says here that God has given us a set of rules to follow. These are laid out in the scripture. Example, for the Catholic, we have their 10 commandments from the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament, while we have the Islamic commandments from the Quran. The right way to live is to follow these rules, and that is the good life for a human being. Another one is the utilitarianism. This is the view that what matters most is in the world in the promotion of happiness and the avoidance of suffering. So the right way to live is, in a general way, to try to promote the most happiness you can, both your own and that of other people, especially those around you, while trying to avoid causing pain or unhappiness. The last one is the Kantian ethics. The great German philosopher Immanuel Kant argues that the basic rule we should follow is neither obey God's laws nor promote happiness. So, the Kantian ethics is in oppose with the idea of the religious answer and the utilitarianism. Instead, he claimed that the fundamental principle of morality is something like always act in the way that you could honestly want everyone to act if they were in a similar situation. Anyone who abides by this rule, he claims, will be behaving with complete consistency and rationality, and they will unfailingly do the right thing. What all these three approaches have in common is that they view morality as a matter of following certain rules. There are very general, fundamental rules like treat others as you like to be treated or promote happiness. And there are lots of more specific rules that can be deduced from these general principles. Examples: don't bear false witness or help the needy. The morally good life is one lived according to these principles. Wrongdoing occurs when the rules are broken. The emphasis is on duty, obligation, and the rightness or wrongness of actions.